Our winner is activist filmmaker Valarie Kaur. Her recent film, Oak Creek in Memoriam, was on the tragedy at the Wisconsin Gurdwara last year.
Thank you so much for this tremendous honor. It's impossible for me to accept this award as an individual. I must share this with my friends and teammates who have fought by my side, with my family who has supported me every step of the way. My brother, Sanjeev, my friend Deep is here, my uncle, Jas, my mother and father-in-law, Tonse and Vidya, and my husband, Sharath. For the last 10 years, we have made films side by side using storytelling for social change. I share this with you. But I also share this with a rising generation of South Asian Americans who are committing their life to public service. Many of you are here tonight. You are my brothers and sisters who every day remind me that we cannot achieve change alone. I was especially reminded of this last August when a white supremacist walked into a Sikh Gurdwara in Wisconsin. I was there to see the blood on the ground of the prayer hall, there to see the bullet holes in the walls, and it was at that moment, even though I had been fighting for civil rights for our community, for others, for a decade, that I could have lost hope, but it was by looking into the hearts of my peers and seeing their courage that brought me back. It was looking into the eyes of Harpreet Sani, the 18-year-old young man who lost his mother in the massacre. He, in the midst of tremendous grief and sorrow, had the courage to face that sea of cameras and tell his story. And he took that story to the halls of power last September. He became the first Sikh American in U.S. history to testify before Congress. He called for an end to violence, not just against Sikhs, but against all Americans. And he wasn't alone. I remember looking around in that Senate hearing room. You remember this, Congressman Crowley. It was filled with people, and not just Sikhs and South Asians. There were African Americans, Latinos, Christians, Jews, Muslims, LGBT Americans, people who reminded me that our struggle, our journey in America, is bound up with a larger movement for human dignity and civil rights in these United States. This year, my family is celebrating our centennial year, 100 years in America. In 1913, my grandfather, clad in a turban and beard, sailed by steamship from Punjab to California to farm the Central Valley. My father, my uncle was born on that land. I was born on that land, and I grew up with my grandfather's stories. He endured decades of discrimination. He endured laws that prevented him from becoming a U.S. citizen. And yet, that did not stop him from believing in the American promise. That did not stop him from loving his neighbors. When Japanese American friends were rounded up and sent to concentration camps, internment camps during World War II, my grandfather was one of the few who looked after their farms, who took his horse and buggy to visit them in the concentration camps when no one else would. My grandfather was just a farmer, but he taught me how to live. That we cannot live just for ourselves or our own families or our own tribes, that we must live for others. We have come a long way in these 100 years. We have been tested time and time again, especially since September 11th. We have a long way to go. But I have learned that the only way forward is to stand up for other communities the ways that they have stood up for us. The only way forward is to abolish racism and sexism and homophobia in our own homes, in our own families. The only way forward is to encourage our young people, our young men, and our young women to pursue leadership, not just as doctors and lawyers and entrepreneurs and engineers and artists and lawmakers, not just folks who have power, but those who use that power to serve others, to serve our community, to serve other communities, to serve America. So I want to tell you tonight that I feel your love and support, and I am so grateful. In the Sikh tradition, we have something called Chardi Kala. Right, Major Khalsi? We have, there you are, the Sikh spirit of Chardi Kala. This idea that even in the face of darkness and despair, even when we see the blood on the ground, we have faith, we have everlasting hope, we have high and rising spirits. And so tonight, looking into your eyes, you have helped fill me with a sense of Chardi Kala that will fuel my work a long time to come. And for this, I am ever so grateful. Thank you so much, India Bra. Thank you, all of you.